Your FastMCP server works great in isolation, but integrating it with Claude Desktop means wrestling with dependencies, Python versions, and environment isolation. We'll see exactly how to configure a production-ready server in Claude Desktop's MCP servers config using UV to handle dependencies, Python versions, and even project directories, all while keeping the setup clean and maintainable.
MCP servers. Dice roller. Command UV. args. Run. With FastMCP. With pandas. With requests. FastMCP. Run. path/to/your/server. Pi.
This demonstrates the configuration as code pattern for dependency management and execution environments. The JSON structure defines a complete server runtime specification, including the command interpreter, package dependencies, and entry point, all in a declarative format. What makes this distinctive is how it encapsulates both the execution command and its environment requirements in a single, version-controllable artifact. The pattern works by externalizing environment concerns from application logic, using a dedicated configuration file that the runtime consumes. This separation allows the framework to handle dependency resolution, Python version selection, and execution context automatically, while your server code remains focused on its core functionality. The declarative approach enables reproducible deployments across different environments without modifying the application code itself. This approach matters because it solves the classic "works on my machine" problem for local development tools. By explicitly defining all runtime requirements in a structured format, you eliminate implicit environment assumptions that cause deployment failures. It's particularly valuable for AI tooling integrations where the execution environment is isolated, and for teams that need to share consistent development setups without manual configuration steps. Let's break it down line by line. This opens a JSON configuration object. The outer structure defines server configurations for FastMCP, with each key representing a distinct server instance and its startup parameters.
MCP servers.
Defines the MCP Server Configurations Dictionary. This top-level key groups all server instances your application will manage, with each server getting its own configuration block. Follows the standard pattern for multi-server FastMCP deployments.
Dice roller.
This defines a named server configuration called Dice Roller within the MCP server registry. The key acts as both an identifier for this specific server instance and a reference point for other services to discover and connect to it. This follows FastMCP's service naming convention, where each logical component gets its own dedicated configuration block.
Command UV.
Specifies UV as the process runner, the ultra-fast drop-in replacement for Python M. This eliminates Python's default startup overhead, critical for FastMCP servers that handle high-frequency AI tool calls.
args.
The args array specifies command line arguments passed to the process. This is the standard configuration pattern for defining executable parameters in JSON-based tooling, where each string in the array becomes a discrete argument in the shell command. The order matters. FastMCP, pandas, and requests are loaded as explicit dependencies before the server script runs.
Run.
This is the FastMCP CLI subcommand that executes the server. Without it, the command would only validate configuration rather than start the service.
With FastMCP.
This specifies FastMCP as a runtime dependency. The with flag tells the launcher to ensure FastMCP is available in the execution environment, preventing missing package errors at startup. This is the standard pattern for declaring toolchain requirements in FastMCP server configurations.
With pandas.
This includes pandas as a runtime dependency. FastMCP's dependency injection system ensures the server has access to pandas data frames for data manipulation without requiring explicit imports in your server code.
With requests.
This specifies requests as a runtime dependency for the FastMCP server. The with flag ensures the package is available during execution, enabling HTTP requests from your server code without manual dependency management. This follows FastMCP's modular dependency injection pattern for clean environment setup.
FastMCP.
This specifies the FastMCP CLI entry point. It tells the UV-run command to execute FastMCP's server runner, not just a generic Python module, required for proper server initialization and tool registration.
Run.
This is the FastMCP execution command. It tells the server to start running the specified Python script as an MCP service, enabling AI tool calls to your defined functions. Without this, the server would only load configuration without activating the service.
Path/to/your/server, Pi.
This specifies the entry point for your FastMCP server. Replace this placeholder with the actual path to your server, Pi file, which contains your @mcp, tool-decorated functions, and startup logic. The configuration system uses this to locate and execute your server implementation. This closes the args array, finalizing the command line arguments passed to the UV process. Without this bracket, the JSON would be malformed, preventing the configuration from being parsed correctly. This closing brace terminates the dice roller server configuration block, finalizing its command and arguments definition. It maintains valid JSON structure while clearly separating this service from other potential MCP servers in the configuration. The pattern ensures each server's settings remain isolated and independently configurable. This closing curly brace terminates the dice roller server configuration block, completing the nested JSON structure. Without it, the configuration would be malformed, preventing FastMCP from parsing the server definitions correctly. This closing brace terminates the JSON configuration block for the MCP server definition. It ensures proper structure by completing the nested objects, preventing syntax errors when the config is parsed. FastMCP configuration pattern. The MCP JSON configuration file bridges local development and production deployment, using UV to manage isolated environments with precise dependency control. Environment variables and Python version specifications must appear before package dependencies in the args array, or the configuration will fail silently. This declarative approach lets you version control entire server environments, not just code.
The configuration that disappears into the environment becomes the environment itself.